or if it creates some handling issues in the middle of the pack, because when you got cars 3 wide side by side, exit of turn 4, you're going to have a lot of movement as they really put the squeeze on Tony Breidinger exiting the tri-oval.
Greg Van Alst making moves early.
Trouble already.
And we've got Tony Breidinger around the 25, and they're wrecking all over the place. Caution is out.
Well. Yeah, SVG is in that as well.
Shane Van Gisbergen had to run this race to be able to race in the Xfinity race, so this will be interesting to see what the officials say.
I think Tanner Gray and the Gibbs number 18 was also in that.
Jeff Schofield in the 07 we see there.
Big damage to Amber Balkan.
Amber Balkan full time.
I think that's Ed Pompa in the number 10 car for Andy Hillenberg.
It was getting really tight through the middle of that tri-oval. I wonder.
That's the 25 of Tony right in the middle. Let's see if she gets squeezed.
So I think the 02 got a push there and wiggled down the racetrack, and then they just kind of squeezed and touched on corner entry to 1. Just really tough part of the corner. The car is really light, and obviously a small push when you're racing that close, only a few inches door to door, generates some contact.
Yeah, and the majority of these cars that involve nothing they could do. There, Tony gets into the 97 of Jason Kitzmiller.
And everybody else is just checking up, trying to miss it. I mean, half
doing their best to try to miss it.
See the 28 on the right side of your screen spinning around. That's Shane Van Gisbergen.
Here's a Sioux Chief on board for Tony Breidinger.
Yeah, so when that push got delivered to the 55, I mean, Tony, you can see by the lines on the racetrack, she was holding her car dead straight. Just got a push. That 02 car came down the racetrack and shoved her into the inside lane, and then everyone else is involved.
Yeah, I mean, we're 2-3 laps into the race, and we're already pushing people sideways into each other. And
I have to know how far a run can carry. And it was really cool reading some of Marco's interviews about why he wants to be in this series. He's raced on some of the biggest stage. Ooh, big accident with one of our already damaged cars.
Yeah, Mandy Chick. She had a top 5 finish here last year. Was involved in an accident. More than likely, probably a tire rub from some damage from that earlier wreck. Tough break for Mandy, though.
So Mandy Chick brings out the 3rd caution of this race. That is a tough break. I feel like this race last year, we talked so much about her and her background.
Such a great run.
Get the window net down. Obviously, seems to be all right. Talking with the safety workers.
With Mandy Chick.
Yeah, I think similar to what you said, Phil. Probably had a tire go down, and
saw the debris on the racetrack, probably from where that tire went down.
Crush panel, the whole rear fender is gone on that car. I want to get into a rhythm here, Phil.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Get some racing. Nick was really able to suck up to the car behind you and actually lock on in qualifying, and I didn't see many of that really at all throughout the field. So I think you got the fastest.
Oh, no.
Cars. Oh, gosh. We've got Christian Rose trying
to
hang on to it.
Can he save it? They're avoiding him all around. What a time you can keep it off the wall here is a job well done for Christian Rose.
Without a doubt. That's a tough spot being turned sideways in the tri-oval.
Almost heaven. Nice save. His 3rd year in the series.
Yeah, we have one straightaway here at this racetrack, and that's the backstretch. This front.
So here he is, bottom lane in the tri-oval.
It's like the
just getting a push.
Car, just a push going, but that's not the place to push.
It's
in the tri-oval. The corners, I know the ARCA officials tell these drivers all the time, please don't push in the corners or in the tri-oval, and that's where it goes bad.
It's the absolute worst place on the racetrack to give a push, receive a push, because you have both challenges. One, you don't have the 30 degrees of banking that give the car the grip, but also you do have a bit of a turn, so you're asking something out of the tires, laterally, but you also don't have. Yeah, it's fortunate no other cars got caught up in this. Christian's doing the long hike. He still hasn't even made it back to pit road yet. When you slide your tires like this, and he's obviously got the brakes locked down, trying to get the car stopped, But when you slide the tires like that, they go flat immediately. And the problem with that is you can even see the hole in the top of the left front right under that General Tire logo, is that once you do try and run on them and drive at speed, it tears the tire off and rips the fenders off. As we see that car's probably a good move, thinking twice about that, get the pack reorganized. Obviously, we're expecting some sort of a caution as it hits right now.
And caution comes out. This is the scheduled caution, and we have cars all the way around as the caution came out. That's Willie Mullins, the pole sitter, going around.
Dale Quarterly, the 4, Leland Honeyman in the 0-2.
Got a couple others back there involved. Somebody stopped on the track. Can't really see the number there.
That's the 13 car right there. That's
Armani Williams.
Armani was involved in that first incident, but recovered.
And Marco Andretti got caught up in that. See that damage.
We know the caution flag.
We're 20 in the 8, and guys may be backing off in some accordion here. We've got Marco Andretti already spun all the way at the top of the field. Comes down in Dale Quarterly, and other cars just dodging the miss and locking down brakes. I wonder what further back, probably exited turn 2, how Marco got turned sideways.
Doesn't look like Leland Honeyman had much damage. You see that's Patrick Emmerling, the blue and white car behind Marco. This is about the time the caution is going to come out. I'm not sure it's out yet.
Yep, you saw it on the wall right
so
there.
The caution is out, but I'm not sure anyone had backed off yet.
They looked really stacked up in that outside lane. I don't know if the couple of leaders were backing up, but Marco was really tucked up. I believe that was the 55 at Gustine. I think he was trying to stay off of him, and whether if that's due to the fact that Marco doesn't really have a rear bumper anymore, is that what makes that push go so bad, or is it just that big of a run? Kind of hard to tell from the front facing angle, but either way, hooked Marco in front of the field.
Watch right side of your screen. There's the 17 of Marco.
Yeah, so Marco actually never even gets to the back of him. So he was just trying to stay off of the 55 because he got checked up behind I believe, LeVar Scott. Just a bit of an accordion there.
Yeah, Marco may have tapped the brakes to keep him running into the 55 of Gustine.
How about the camera work of our crew? It's been a long, long day.
Sure
Second
has.
race of the day. Before that, we had Cup Series practice. We had qualifying for trucks, qualifying for Xfinity practice. Miss Myrna went to victory lane, dominated the race on Sunday night. I looked at his schedule. He's racing at least 6 times. Saw
by the 44.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Another great spot to not push is entering the corners. So we've covered all the spots to not push, and that's one of them.
Thomas Annunziato.
Yeah. And the reason why that is because the car just gets really light as it drops into the banking. Got a lot.
Go look at the visuals on that, and they saved it. And right after that, another save. Who will hang on till the end? Find out soon.
Austin and I thought maybe he cut a tire, but watch, the car's going to start sparking like maybe he's broken a track bar mount or something like that, but it's going to turn it sideways.
He's running 6th at the time and does a good job keeping the car off the wall, but does bend the nose up quite a bit. And like Phil mentioned, I think something more suspension related happened there. I mean, you saw a piece go flying and hit the outside wall, but all 4 tires are up once he got stopped.
Once he drives away from this, though, it looks like he's trailing some sort of fluid. So don't know whether that happened when the nose came down and hit the apron or not. You can see how it's bent the nose up there.
Yeah, tough deal, but it will definitely pack us back up here with 23 laps to go as he's obviously out of the car. And I think that's how long this outside lane stays in. We've got 2 really, really fast cars.
And around goes the 99. That's Michael Maples.
The wall. Oh, gosh.
And another huge hit. And they hit again.
And there's Shane.
Mentioned Scott Melton.
Is that Big Willie? That was Big Willie that hit Scott Melton.
Willie Mullins right there in the 3. He was the pole sitter.
Looked like he he hit him really hard, and then it looked like it hung the throttle wide open almost. And
yeah, a couple big impacts there. Obviously, Scott Melton getting hooked head on into the wall. He obviously had a big wreck here in last year's race, and I'm sure he's disappointed. Gets pretty wide coming off the corner and just loses it.
Loose. Just got loose.
He's got something sparking back there. I think he had some sort of an issue where he lost the back of the car, because he was kind of tracking up the racetrack all the way on the exit of the corner by himself, and then obviously collects kind of a bystander there in the 69 car, and Willie Mullins hits a ton in the back of that car.
And it's hard to see it from this angle, but there was a lot more smoke than it looked like, probably from the angle that we were looking at it. So Willie was probably in that smoke.
Yeah,
he's going to catch Melton in the right rear corner.
Tell you what, that was a great evasive maneuver by that black car there, and a lot of these other guys missing some of this debris. And then you got SVG here coming to pit road and just rejoining the race, and he tattoos the infield.
Chantel, the 75 goes around.
You could see it right there where you mentioned that it looked like the throttle hung. Hoping that Willie is okay. So violent, you see that hit. Impact. They have brought the red flag out, but I'm hearing the fans all applauding, so that is usually a very good sign to say that they see the driver exit the car. Of course, very thankful for that. Yep, there he is.
That's a great sight right there.
Darn.
Waves to the fans.
Not do it. He did it here in 22. And Jake Finch, boy, working 60 laps led so far tonight. So impressive for this young man.
We've got a car on fire.
We've got a car on fire. There it is, Marco Andretti. He's had that damage, had a couple issues earlier, and the caution is out for the 8th time with about 3.5 laps to go in this race.
Oh, wow. More than likely, we will have a 1-lap overtime shootout. I don't think we can do team orders there. I don't think there's any way that that they would.
Well, what happened here? Obviously, they're all just running single file. So whether that's just from damage from before, started smoking on corner entry there, turn 1, right front tire flat into the wall, probably cuts an oil line or something, caused that fire.
He was running up in the top 10. When we talked before about him running just outside the top 10, it was not out of the question, but it's going to be the end of it for Marco.
I'll tell you what, our newcomers have had a very tough time.
They have
a modified legend, have a mechanical problem. We got,
oh, look at the smoke there, Austin.
Marco Andretti struggling. We got Shane Van Gisbergen out in the first wreck. These guys have not had an easy introduction into super speedway racing. That's a tough lick with the right front going down on corner entry from the bottom lane.
So you mentioned overtime. So they do have. We've been here a long time. You all have been watching and listening for a long time. Here it is. Everything on the line. Who will win at Daytona? There they go, side by side, the teammates. They head into turn 1. Jake Finch, Gus Dean.
They weren't able to do what we expected as far as the teammate restart. It's delayed a lot further, and Gus Dean has the advantage now as the second place car. And Andres Perez has a big run here. He's trying to get clear. Gus Dean's getting way too far out in front, and we're going to have a run from the outside as well.
Jake's going to have a run. Now it seizes up a little bit. Little side draft on Andres Perez.
It's going to depend on which lane gets the bigger push.
Oh, no. Jake Finch goes around and dominated this race, wrecking all over the place at the front of the field. That will end this race. Andres Perez, huge hit on top of another car. Gus Dean in the 55 will unofficially be the winner of this race, winning the 100th race for Venturini Motorsports. His 3rd career win in the ARCA Menard Series. Celebrations all around. His first win since 2018. And what a moment for Venturini Motorsports. We talked about the 100th win. They had been looking forward to it last year. They kick off the season by getting it with Gus Dean. We've been talking about him all night. Drove a heck of a race.
Undoubtedly, Austin, there were not team orders, or else they didn't work very well.
Yeah, I mean, they had 2 bullets in the chamber there at the end of the race, and what if they decided momentum coming back to that 3rd row, and that outside lane started it, and yeah, just a lot of pushing and shoving.
Yeah, I think Andy J was in the back of Jake, and I think Andy J had Lewis in the back of him as well, and they all just
it was almost simultaneous. The inside and the outside got to the 2nd row at the same time and just kind of fishtailed each other into both lanes.
Watch Perez in that 2 car up against the outside wall.
He's actually climbing over another car here. And he like stays mounted on top of the 73
Andy
car.
J's car.
Is that Armani Williams?
It is. It is.
The 13. What an impact for Jake Finch. Led 66 laps tonight, only to go straight into the wall on the final lap. Here's another look.
Yeah, Jake's just going down the straightaway, and they start pushing and shoving there, and
should be a good onboard view here from Perez coming up, as he's obviously the car that's
he's on top of Andy Jankowiak's car.
Yeah. Could be a wild ride. So he's getting the side draft, thinks he has a chance to win this race, and then lots of pushing and shoving. 20 gets turned into the fence, and then 2 car goes for a ride.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing pictures. First ever National Series race as well, driving for Venturini's.
Gio Ruggiero is
trouble already.
Trouble on the track. 2 cars involved. It looks like the 77. Cody Keemely. Have to see what in the world led to this. That was a hard impact. The 07 is the other one.
That's
Danica Dart.
One of the other females, one of the 5. See top right of your screen.
A lot of tire smoke getting in. It happened very early in the corner, Phil.
It really did. You saw the 05 with a lot of smoke. Maybe put something down on the racetrack. That's Michael Maples in the 99 involved as well. That's where the contact for the front of Camille's car came. Tough break for him. I was talking to him in the garage area. He's a
picker-upper. And welcome back to Richmond Raceway. Caution is out for the 2nd time. An incident in turn 3.
Yeah, David Smith, the 05, who was involved in that very first incident we had on lap number 2, is involved along with Jake Bollman in the 88 car.
That was one of our onboards.
I was going to say, you got a good shot of that.
A lot of damage, and his window net's not down yet.
Yeah, Jake was running in the 16th position when that happened.
See him catching his breath there.
Yeah. That's the 19 of Eric Johnson Jr. I don't think Jake's going to come along there.
Have anywhere to go here.
There's absolutely nowhere to go.
In that corner, you're already max brake getting in.
Yeah,
so
you're as hard as you can. You're in there as hard as you can go.
Right.
You can't go any farther.
Can't slow down anymore.
Yeah. It's going to get a great look from the onboard of Jake Bollman.
Just watch how fast this happens. Already,
like you said, he backed off the last second that he could, and
can't see anything.
Absolutely nowhere to go. Hard contact with the back of the 05 car.
Well, and once he got up the racetrack, there's so many marbles up there from the tire buildup as it wears off. Nobody's run that high yet. So at this point, he's, as you said, along for the ride.
You saw Jake, he saw him wiggle a little bit. He was trying to get slowed down, but as you mentioned, Trevor, he's in the corner as hard as he can get in the corner, and he's on the brakes as hard as he can use the brakes. So it's not easy just to turn these things left and avoid something like that. Looks like Sawalich, they will look back at the most recent scoring loop to see who was ahead at the time of the caution.
And caution is out for the 3rd time here, as we're just a few laps away from that stage break.
Greg was running in the 12th spot, one of the 14 cars the 34 of Isaac Johnson. Take a look at the spin here. He's on the inside. I believe is that Andres Perez, or no, that's LeVar Scott. The 2 cars look very much alike. Just lost the air to that rear spoiler and got loose. did a nice job keeping that car out of the outside wall as they go by inside and outside.
Balkin, heads up move, just avoided him.
Right here, we got Marco Andretti's on board. We said it might see some action, and it did right here.
Heard Marco grab a gear, grab a third gear, and drive by on the inside. Good heads up move by Marco.
This is a Joe Gibbs Racing machine, and it's the only one that they run. One car, and we've got a car around the 34.
It's
Isaac Johnson.
Yeah. That's a teammate to Greg Van Alst.
Well, they're having a tough day then at that team, aren't they?
Time tonight for this incident right here.
It's that pesky turn 1, turn 3.
Caution flag of the night here at Five Flags Speedway. Connor Zilic and Zachary Tinkle coming together down in turn 1. No damage to either car. There's a good look at Connor Zilic in that number 28. Only lost one spot on the racetrack. After that incident, he has been removed. Let's take one more look at what happened down there going down into turn 1. Connor Zilic thought he had the 11 car cleared. Unfortunately, Zachary Tinkle dropped up the racetrack just a little bit. Those cars came together. And keep an eye on Jake Finch in that 55. Great job missing Connor Zilic and the wall. One more look from the turn 1 cam, and boom, right there. Zachary Tinkle drifting up the racetrack and making pretty solid contact with Connor Zilic. But both of those. Jero looking at the white flag from Denise Engel. Final time around for the driver of the number 20. Gio Ruggiero down the backstretch. No pressure from behind. Into turns 3 and 4. Gio Ruggiero looking at the checkered flag. He'll pick up the victory here at Five Flags Speedway. Career win number 1. William Sawalich across the line in second. Bubba Pollard will come home in third.
Looks like we're going to get a good shot of this spin here down on the apron, the 31 car. No harm, no foul. It's always a good feeling when you're in front of that race and you want that car to stay on the bottom.
Little contact there with the 11. That's Zachary Tinkle.
Rita does a nice job keeping that car out of the inside wall.
All right, we're under caution for the first time here for the Arca Menard Series. Gio Ruggiero is your leader.
Connor Zilic right along with the Suchi fast track onboard. Was right on the rear bumper of Perez. Lost a little. 31 is in the wall. Caution is out.
That's Rita Goulet. That'll bring out the caution for the third time.
We're hearing that possibly her husband Tim has gotten in that car. We'll have to check back with the ARCA officials and see. He got sideways up off the corner. And there's Tim or Rita over in turn 2 against the outside wall.
No light hits here.
No, this is not an easy racetrack to get into the wall here. It looks like it was pretty gradual, but yeah, no soft hits at Dover for sure.
Yeah, the ARCA officials now are telling us that it is Tim, Rita's husband, in the car.
Not go, and the 20 goes.
Caution on the racetrack.
We've got a caution out right on the start finish.
Wow.
Amber Balkin with a big hit. Had others involved as well.
Christian Rose.
Christian Rose.
Significant
hard into
contact.
the wall. There was a fire. You could see the back of his race car. He was on fire right in front of our booth. And they had just given the black
flag. See what happened here.
Watch right side of your screen. Oh, right front tire issue for the 32. And then Amber comes off the corner and just avoids Christian Rose. But unfortunately, the self-cleaning Banks is going to put her right into the inside safer barrier.
And this racetrack is pretty tough on right front tires. We talk about the loading and the banking and what that feels like for the driver. That right front tire takes the brunt force of that. You see that massive fire under there as well.
That was a massive hit for Christian Rose.
Hit off of 4.
And Amber did a great job avoiding Christian Rose again, because she's all in the throttle, come off the corner, and all of a sudden there is a car that's in the outside wall. You can see that car just go straight into the outside wall, and Amber's right there again. She's already in the throttle. She does an amazing job missing him. And if this would have been a flat straightaway, she probably would have got away with it. But unfortunately, she had to turn so acutely that that it put her right in the.
LeVar Scott avoids disaster. Boom, right there.
Oh, that's why the quarter panel came off the car. A little contact from LeVar Scott. LeVar is going to lose a couple spots while he was trying to avoid.
He's going to have to stay really disciplined, be careful of that car on his outside.
If he can stay there, it's going to go. Contact into the wall.
Goes into the wall. Williams Sawalich, and the caution comes out for the 7th time.
And guess who has the lead?
Gio Ruggiero. What a turn of events. We'll have to look at this one again.
Just hard racing, and Austin talked about how difficult it is to stay on the inside of that car.
Track position racetrack, but as you see, Connor's got just a little bit of a nose going into turn 3, and turn 3 is probably one of the sketchier entries into the corner, and just loses a bit of air on the nose, can't quite get to the bottom, tags William, puts him in the wall.
And you see the 20 car on the bottom, right to the lead as the caution comes out. Connor Zilic in 2nd, LeVar Scott 3rd, Andy Jankowiak, Tony Breidinger all up there in the top 6.
If you can go back and actually play that again, I would love to. There's a big bump, and it really, the Cup cars actually really struggle with it. And if you watch the left rear tire and hit that bump, so watch the left rear tire on Williams' car right here. Hits that bump and goes straight up the racetrack. So he's in a bad aero spot, can't quite get to the bottom, but like I said, it's just hard racing. It's a tricky spot to put yourself in, which is why it makes these restarts so difficult.
And William wants to make it difficult for him. He wants to keep him pinned down, to keep him out of the throttle if he can.
I think William gave him plenty of room.
Yes.
There's plenty of room to the bottom. At least entering turn 3.
Yeah, Connor really never got to the bottom of the racetrack. Here they are going down the backstretch, entering turn 3. Watch, he's never going to get down to the bottom. And then he makes contact.
Yeah, he got his turn-in point right, but he just hit that bump and never could quite get back down. It would be a really good view here from the 18.
Here we are coming off to, going under the bridge. William almost had him cleared going down into turn 3. Connor drives him hard into turn 3, makes contact, and unfortunately William is going to be out of it.
William Sawalich started the race on the pole, led 67 laps, the most today. Had those radio issues and now bigger problems. Americas as well, past 57 trucks. Caution is out again. Obviously, a lot of damage for Tony Breidinger in the 25.
Yeah, actually crashed with her teammate Chris Wright. We talked about the good run Chris had going, as well as Tony.
Well, he was all over the bumper trying to get that 7th spot. Here it is.
See Tony in the red car. Chris trying to make the move to the outside. Had his nose up alongside of Tony. Not very far, but
yeah, that's a tough spot, you know, with that corner exit. You know, she was behind a lap car, so she's going to be losing momentum, whereas Chris was getting momentum off the top, and sometimes that's a difficult spot for the spotters. So I don't know what you do differently in position with the drivers, right? You're Chris, you're trying to get the spot. You've been working hard for the last few laps, but I feel like if you're Tony, you don't really expect that car to be there. So I think a lot of it kind of comes down to what information you're getting from the roof, but really unfortunate for Tony. She was having a super solid run. As we mentioned, this is a track that she's had some speed at, and unfortunately leaving with the damaged race car.
Heather was. White flag is in the air. Can Connor Zilic hang on? Trying to win his first ARCA National Series win. Gio Ruggiero just behind him. Connor Zilic, he was patient. They worked on the race car. They made it better as he makes his way around. Checkered flag in the air. Connor Zilic gets it done in Dover.
And Greg Van also spin.
Trouble.
Got one around already. Looks like it's the 11. That's Jason Alexander, Division I lacrosse player from Apex, North Carolina.
Couple top 10 finishes in the East Series this year for Andy Hillenberg.
He's getting down into turn 1 here, crossing the seams and gets the right rear on that seam, it looks like, and just gets sideways. Those things can be so slick here.
And you talked about how slick this racetrack is, and that's actually the better corner down there, the easier corner 1 and 2 typically.
It's at least halfway shaded, right?
Exactly right.
Time, and for the second time, it's Jason Alexander back in the 22nd position. A little more damage after this one.
Yeah, this is after the spin, and that's the damage that flat tire did to that fender and hood.
Well, that's a bad feeling, Phil. He spun out right off of turn 4, didn't hit anything, and he's probably thinking, we're still in this thing. And then
no zone, remember, it's just a line, and it looked to me like he was ahead of Carson Quapple when they got to that line. We saw the same thing happen, Jamie, just a couple of races ago, somebody got blacked for doing that very same thing.
They did, and the caution.
Down on that nose. Just about got there. Is going to do the crossover, looks like me. Oh, trouble.
Oh, caution.
Oh.
The 06 goes around. That's Con Nicolopoulos. Ooh, big damage right there. Is that the 11?
I think it's the 31 of Mitch Gibson.
See crew chief on that 82 up there. Not happy with that caution.
That is the 31 of Mitch Gibson.
Michael happened.
That's Amber Balkin on the outside of the 06 of Con Nicolopoulos. Watch the 31. He's trying to go to the outside, runs into the outside
Blocked
wall.
Brakes, yeah.
And there still wasn't enough room to get by.
See Greg Van Alst enter the situation there. All good for him. Gosh, so much damage.
How about Con's going to be able to drive away with that 06 car?
Andrew.
In the air, one more lap to go for Tanner Gray. Last race just 3 weeks ago, dominated the race, only to be set up for heartbreak at the end.
He pulls this off, he earned it, Jamie. Old tires with the fastest car of the race right behind you on fresh stickers. If you pull this off, it's a big deal.
Well, and not to mention, we talked about the flat right rear tire. Had to come down pit road, took care of it, didn't damage his car at all. They were able to change out the tire. He came back in. As they come around, Tanner Gray gets it done for the first time in his career. Oh, that's got to feel good.
The 55, and look at that run for Zachary Tinkle in the number 11 as we got a car sideways already over in turns 3 and 4. That will put us under the caution flag for the first time here tonight. Colton Collins getting turned sideways. Making his way through turns 1 and 2, down the short backstretch, and I think he's going to get a little nudge. Indeed, he does. Some contact there from Jason Alexander. Getting Colton turn 10 laps. Going to add on to that advantage here tonight. Ooh, we see a car sideways. Cody Dennison getting turned around over in turn 2. And that will put us under the caution. And that is going to give William Sawalich a shot at making a run for victory here tonight. Cody Dennison getting a nudge in traffic. Getting turned sideways. Over there. Keep an eye on the 06. He is going to get a little help there from Gio Ruggiero. Looks like Cody may have stacked it up behind DL Wilson. 8 laps to go to settle it. And look at that, Zilich driving Sawalich way up the racetrack. Green flag back out. Let's see what happens. 3 to go here at Flat Rock. Zilich on the brake. He's going to jump out to the lead. Sawalich able to keep Gio Ruggiero behind. Ruggiero trying to move him up the racetrack. 2 to go this time around. Down the backstretch, Zilich with a little bit of breathing room over William Sawalich. White flag up here, final time around for Connor Zilich. Stretching out the advantage, your ARCA Menard Series East current points leader looking for win number 2. Connor Zilich gonna get it done here tonight at Flat Rock. Zilich picking up the victory, drifting across the start-finish line.
Taking advantage of it right now, shown in the 4th spot.
Okay, Isabella is into the wall.
Caution is out. Our pole sitter, big trouble early on.
She got a little bit loose down in 3 and 4, was losing some positions. Looked like she tried to move back in line and squeeze somebody as she was getting it down in turn number 1. She's going to get a little bit loose on the bottom. You see her wiggle right there. She loses momentum, and now cars go on either side of her. She's going to try to get back up in line. That's Tanner Gray, that blue car, number 18. She's going to try to get in line. Looks like maybe in front of Andres Perez. She wasn't quite clear and made fairly significant contact with the outside safer barrier. Tough break for that outstanding young lady. There's another view of it. She just wasn't quite clear, Jamie, when they got down to turn number 1.
Well, they get 45 minutes of practice, and that is it. You show up to this racetrack you've never seen before.
Here's Andres. He sees her in trouble with lost her momentum. He's going to try to go by on the high side. You heard him try to get out of the throttle as she came up, but he just couldn't get stopped in time.
Let's go on board with Isabella.
She's already gotten loose down there in 3 and 4. You see Tanner Gray going by in that 18. Now she's going to try to move up in line behind Tanner Gray. Just misjudged it just by a little bit. Caught that right front or left front corner of Andres Perez's car.
Talk about a swing of emotions. In just a matter of about 5 minutes, you go from leading the field. The best battle we have had up front for the lead. Nobody's had anything for Tanner Gray. Greg Ives, longtime Cup crew chief, on the box as they're side by side. Caution is out for the 3rd time. Rita Goulet, I believe, is the stopped car. There she is.
I don't see any contact. Hopefully she doesn't have any damage to the right side. Now the right side looks. Take a look right there. That's going to be Rita Goulet. You see she's already sideways. Pretty nice save. She caught that car as it came down off the racetrack onto the apron.
We're under caution for the 3rd time. Riding on board with Amber Balkan. Gets into her teammate and saves it. Wow, impressive. Time, and that is the championship point leader, Andres Perez.
Stayed up top. You see a little bit of momentum. Corey Day's going to try to make the move on the inside. He's going to get loose down there.
And he's sideways. He takes Tanner with him. Tanner keeps it off the wall. Corey Day goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and the caution is out.
That was very reminiscent of Amber's slide. Great job by Corey Day. I'm telling you, that was so much sideways that the ARC officials thought he was going to spin and threw a caution. And I don't blame him, because if he spins and goes back up the racetrack, that could have been catastrophic. But another great save by Corey Day.
There's Greg Ives right there.
That situation, he couldn't even turn down to the bottom, Jamie. He was loose getting in the corner. But watch this. Now, he's used to being sideways. That's what he's done his whole life on dirt.
And you see in this moment, Chris Wright in the 15 just watches. And he capitalizes. Makes his way through, so Chris Wright shown as the race leader right now. Connor Zilic sees all that happen. He picks up a spot. He now moves into 3rd.
Jamie, I know.
Part-time driver. Hasn't been easy for him tonight either. Had unapproved adjustments at the start. Started in the back, and the caution is out for the 5th time.
The absolute last thing that Tanner Gray and his team wanted to see.
Ooh, Chris Wright. In the wall.
Looks like possibly another right front tire down.
Trying to get a glimpse of what happened here to Chris Wright.
Yeah, already in the wall. More than likely that tire went down in the middle of 3 and 4. Nothing he could do about it, just has to ride it out. That will move Andy J right now up into the 3rd position. Andy J.
They make their way to the green flag. It's Amber Balkan, Tanner Gray. Amber gets a push from the 28 of Connor Zilic. She hangs on to it. Was sideways, but it's Tanner Gray out front.
That push really killed Connor Zilic's momentum. Look at Andy J in 2nd.
Andy Jankowiak says, the heck with my best career finish. I want to win this thing. 73 car's been stout. Does he have enough for the 18? Amber Balkan hanging in there on those old tires. Corey Day up at the wall, and here comes Connor Zilic to the inside.
And there those old tires were showing up for Amber. She did a nice job for half that lap, and then just nothing she could do about it. Look at Corey Day coming now in 3rd.
Andy Jankowiak all over the bumper of the 18. The 18 smoking. He's got an issue with something wrong with the left rear. Corey Day, the 82 on the inside. It's not over.
Going to hang in there tough. Coming down for 1 to go.
Connor Zilic not giving up on the high side.
Connor's going to try to pass them both here down the straightaway.
Tanner Gray hanging on. I don't see the smoke any longer. 3 wide behind him. Corey Day into Andy Jankowiak. They're rubbing. We stay green. Tanner Gray continues to lead. Connor Zilic right behind him. Does he have enough time? Final lap. Tanner Gray has been so impressive with this 18 team. Won earlier in the season. Checker flag in the air. Tanner Gray wins it at Kansas Speedway and gets that redemption.
And he typically did run better when he ran the ARCA race prior to that.
Caution is out. Problems for the 96. That's Jackson McLaren.
Jackson is from Portland, Tennessee, and he was recognized by the city.
Coming off the corner.
Yeah, just got up a little high there. It looks like car stepped out. You know, you want to move that groove up. You want to be one of the first ones to do it. But sometimes that marble buildup around the top, if the track's not ready yet, it's easy to spin out.
He was running 21st when he went around. A lot of anxious onlookers, including Grant Enfinger, who starts front row in the
lower cars that they're going to have to deal with.
Caution out for the second time. Issue in turn 3. Presley Sora into the wall.
Oh,
that's
got a shock off.
Yeah, that's not where the shock is.
2 guys going for 3 in a row. I know that it's not the last 3, but Connor Zilic, he said, I'm on that 3 in a row too.
Back on Monopoly in the 85. This is a brand new team out of Florida. Their debut. She was doing a solid job running up around the 20th spot, but a lot of damage. You see the right rear tire leaned in, a lot of damage to the front of that.
63 leading at the halfway point. So Wallace has led the last 20 as we're under caution.
Got loose, maybe a little overcorrection there on exit. Right here you see it just step out, wheels turn to the right, and it hooks.
Yeah.
Bad feeling there.
Yeah, what an amazing job. It looked like Jackson McLaren to avoid her.
Board here.
It's Perez.
Right behind. Big moment.
How about that miss right there by McLaren? Tough break, pretty significant contact for Becca's car.
Third caution, Jackson McLaren spins from 18th, brings out our 4th caution of the night with just over 30 laps remaining in the Calypso 200.
To be a break for Greg Van Alst. He will get a free pass, but he went a 2nd lap down. That will just put him now 1 lap down. We'll still have 11 cars on the lead lap, but an opportunity for Zip.
No.
See McLaren already around. Ooh, and Tony Reinger jumped on the brakes, locked the brakes up, and got into the outside wall.
Running 6th position. We've talked all night about how well she's been running. That's going to...
I think Zilic is thinking, this is my time right here. Sideways.
Gets away from Zilic. He hangs on to it. Sawalich has the lead.
And Sawalich just put it on his door on entry. He wasn't going to allow him to slide job. He said, put it tight.
Teammates again for 3rd. Perez inside of Scott. And trouble once more. And that's Breidinger.
Oh.
Caution number 5.
Yeah, McLaren came along and tried to go to the outside. There was not room there. Top 10 the entire race.
We see her drop back already 5-6 spots from where she started. Lawless Allen gets in and gets loose, catches her in the left rear.
Yeah, that was the cause of the incident, is the 33 of Lawless Allen getting into Tony. lap car, Cody Dennison won him. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Amber Balkan goes around. We get a caution. Unbelievable.
Wow. I think you already had your notes for the winner over there, Adam.
Yeah, I have to put those back in the file.
This is going to be what caused the caution. Looks like Zachary Tinkle. Oh, no contact there. Amber was trying to stay ahead of the 11 of Zach Tinkle, and unfortunately gets around. Keeps it out of the inside wall, but much to Connor Zillish's dismay, the caution did come out.
Is there a reason you had a lot of emphasis on unlimited restart attempts there?
Well, I've watched the last two.
Hey, we got a truck race coming up at 8:30. I mean, at some point, we got to get prepared for that.
Yeah, well, then it may not be unlimited, then, actually.
Yeah, we could get timed out on this race. We'll let the officials handle that, and we'll just call the action on track.
Yeah, no contact at all.
See that left rear tire cross that seam? We talked about how slick those can be. And it doesn't take much here. There's no banking to catch those cars. Great jump by the 28.
Huge jump. Zilish gets away. The battle for second is now on. Look at Perez coming through.
What a great start by Zilish. Battle Chris Wright in the 15, battling Ruggiero in the 20 for 5th.
White flag this time around. One more for Connor Zilish.
How about Perez now grabbing the second spot?
That's not over yet. Sawalich is there. How about Connor Zilish? 3 starts this year. It's going to be 3 victories. Connor Zilish going to win it at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Big win. Once he got that jump, it didn't matter which lane he was in. He was clear by the start-finish line.
What a great restart.
Stan, Nick Janitis has had some more problems. Poor Nick. He has had a rough day. And, oh, look at that. As we were showing the replay, he has gone around again. Nick Janitis. Oh, and there's some damage on Tanner Reif's number 88. I don't know that those two have anything in common. Nope, indeed. Nick just went around on his own. And as tough as a day as this has been for Nick Janitis, it has been a tough day. You know, we have seen Nick well up into the top 5 on some of the short tracks that we have been to this year. A couple of months back. Was in contention to win at Daytona. And we see Eric Johnson Jr. off the racetrack, and I see some damage. He may have come into contact with that tire barrier there, and indeed he has. Eric Johnson Jr. into the tire barrier in turn 12. Just as we were looking at Jake Finch, we see Eric Johnson Jr. See if we can take a look at what happened there as he is off the racetrack. He has got those wheels turned as hard as he can turn them to the right. Unfortunately, no traction on the grass. And Eric Johnson Jr. into the tire barrier. Sawalich with a slight advantage. Brandon Jones not wanting to give it up. And Jack Wood is off the racetrack. He is going to slide across the field. Wow. What a close call for the leaders. Oh my goodness, that was intense, folks. William Sawalich. Let's take another look at it. Keep your eye on that 16 car. He drove it in deep, dipped to the grass, slid across the front of both William Sawalich and Brandon Jones. No one made any contact. Oh, I'll tell you what, Jack was, he thought he was going to go to the front right there. And he realized at the last second he wasn't going to be able to get that car slowed down without taking out the entire front row. And I think he did the only thing he could do at that point, and he drove that car to the side of the racetrack. And instead of taking back in the 13th position, that does not help his chances at picking up a top 10. Ooh, I think he may have had a little help there. Jack Wood finding the right rear corner of that number 27 car and giving him a little. For William Sawalich here at Portland, 1 lap away from victory. We'll follow him around. Sawalich into the festival chicanes. Turns 1, 2, and 3. Cleveland through the chicane. Now down into turn 4. We've seen a lot of action down here into turn 4 this afternoon. Sawalich clean through 4 and turn 5. On into turn 6. Continuing to build on that advantage. As he races his way into the tight turn 7. Turn 8 down the backstretch. William Sawalich, no pressure from behind. He's going to have a car to deal with here down into turn 10. He's going to clear that race car into turn 10. 11, and now into turn 12. William Sawalich took the lead right before the midway point, and he is going to drive it down into victory lane. William Sawalich off the final corner, and he will pick up the win here in the Portland 112. William Sawalich, your winner here in Portland.
Off turn number 4 and made contact with the outside retaining wall with the left side of his race car, ending his night prematurely. Here's what happened.
Yeah, our third place car, Gio Ruggiero, just drove by him. He was up a little bit high on the racetrack, maybe a little bit higher than anybody he had gone before, and he just lost control, made some slight contact with a safety barrier. There's Gio going by, and you see him up in the third lane. We haven't seen many cars do that at all, but he has pulled that car behind the wall.
Roulette making his first Iowa start. This is his 9th ARCA Menard Series appearance.
The battle for the lead. Here comes Zilish.
Inside car has been vulnerable of sliding up the racetrack. Zilish doing everything he can to keep his car trouble. Van Olst, Amber Balkan, and Marco Andretti in a crash in turn 4.
That's second and third, and points involved in this accident with Van Olst and Amber Balkan.
And the front end of Greg Van Olst's car, as well as the whole left side, is badly damaged. And for Amber Balkan, who just came back from that hard crash at Dover a handful of races ago, is really looking forward to her opportunity to get back on track here at Iowa after being able to continue. Could in fact be terminal.
Watch him 3 wide getting down in the corner. Van Olst is on the bottom. Looks like he gets a little bit of a bump possibly from Amber. Carries both of them into the outside wall, as well as the 17 of Marco Andretti.
That was the battle for 11th, 12th, 13th place, respectively, with 4 cars in the mix. Christian Rose, that may be a Reese's Sweet Move of the Race nominee right there. He just barely got by on the top side.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that one. Mason Mitchell as well, up out of the groove.
Greg Van Olst and Amber Balkan, as Phil mentioned.
A few groups, but he said the car is coming to him on the long run as we have a caution
here. Trouble in turn number 4, and it is a car that was running in the 3rd spot at the time. Our pole sitter, Gio Ruggiero, has backed it into the wall. Doesn't appear to be too much damage to the left rear.
I'm not sure there's any damage. He may have got that thing stopped before it got into the outside wall. He's going to give up all his track position.
We saw how loose this car was a handful of laps ago, right into the setting sun in turn 3.
You could hear the rear tires chatter as he got down in the corner, just got loose. This racetrack is cooling off. A lot of the crew chiefs said they thought that would make this racetrack free up, as you can see off in the distance. Him getting sideways, maybe slight contact, but I don't think enough to hurt that car. Racetrack could.
One of her better races where she finished 5th, but she said it's changed a lot as we see the caution out.
Hard crash for Chris Wright in the 15, and piling in also is the number 93 of Cody Dennison in his first start for this race team in 2024. And both cars are badly damaged in 1 and 2.
Tough break for one of our regulars. We talked.
Not make it to the end after the race break. Let's try to take a look at what happened. Right side of your picture.
Right over there, that's where they are. Looked like maybe Chris was trying to get under the 93 of Dennison to put him another lap down. And they both make hard contact with the safer barrier.
Really hard shot for both cars. You see the red flag is out. Runs into the back of Michael Maples off 2.
Yeah, that's
in trouble. LeVar Scott spins off turn 2.
You know what that means, don't you, Eric?
Another restart.
Another restart.
Scott was running in the top 10 at the time of the spin. No major contact for his Rev Racing number 6 car. And that will be caution number 8.
Keep an eye on the 20 of Ruggiero.
In the 03, and things just tighten up way too much in turn 1. And Scott, who got up into some of that speedy drive from the crash that took out Chris Wright, boy, he tried to hang on for that car almost the full duration of the corner.
Yeah, Gustine had committed to trying to go around that lap car. I don't think LeVar actually thought that Gus was in there far enough. They made contact. I can't put any blame on Gus at all for that situation.
Brazilish off 4, 2 to go.
I think if he can get close enough to his bumper, there will be contact.
Sawalich again holding a tighter line in the corner. Turns 3 and 4 is where the 18 has been just a little bit better in this last duration of the race. Sawalich tries to set up high. Here comes Connor Zilisch to the white flag. 1 lap to go from Iowa.
I'm not sure Sawalich is going to be close enough.
Zilisch trying to hold a pretty wheel off 2 as he has been able to gap Sawalich marginally down the backstretch for the final time. For the 2nd year in a row, Pinnacle Racing Group is going to go to victory lane at Iowa. Tonight, Connor Zilisch wins his 2nd ARCA Menard Series race. Zilisch takes the Atlas 150.
Down, and she got off the throttle for a moment. See Gustine trying to make his way around Corey Day. Oh, Amber Balkin into the inside wall.
The 22 of Amber Balkin early on in this race brings out the first caution. From Winnipeg, Manitoba in the Toyota with...
What a tough break for Amber Balkin. She comes in. She's on the inside of Greg Van Alst. They made a little bit of contact coming off the corner. Her in the blue 35 of Greg Van Alst. And that just turned her sideways, and she went straight into the inside wall. Just nowhere to go.
Job to avoid the contact by Will Kimmel in the 69. But
at speed around the outside.
It was Wright who had just been passed by the 2 car, and then he gets too high and gets into the wall.
Got to believe that if the caution is out, maybe some debris on the racetrack. You have to wonder.
Now the 95. Andrew Patterson, one of our rookies in the field, he's into the wall as well. 2nd caution.
Damage tires.
Here's the 15 and what happened.
We saw him lose that spot to Andres Perez. Right front tire definitely went down on the 15. He had lost another spot. Watch Will Kimmel go around. Wow.
That's a potential Reese's sweet move of the race.
Yeah, for Will Kimmel without a... Unfortunately. Fell a lap down that they're trying to get by. Ooh.
31.
Rita Goulet, I think she had some sort of an issue. She's going to stop on the racetrack.
3rd cut
would be what they do. She locks the brakes up down here. She was doing her best to make sure she didn't slide back up the racetrack in front of her competitors. Now she got it refired and moving again.
Lap 70. It kind of...
Greg Van Alst. Oh, 3 cars involved at least. And
Finch into the 10 of Ed Pampa.
Wow.
So the 10, the 20, and the 99 of Michael Maples.
Significant contact with Jake Finch in the 20 car. This racetrack is banked so much. When you enter the corner, you really can't see around the corner. You look out the top left portion of your windshield,
And because
lap 90, here's the aftermath of what happened.
Something happened at the 0-3 of Alex Club. You see Greg Van Alst. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Jake there, whether possibly the spotter didn't see it, because you see the 6 locked the brakes up to get stopped. The 28 makes it through. The 2, actually the 2 runs in to Corey Day a little bit, and then Jake comes in there and makes some pretty hard contact. I just don't think he knew that they were there. Yeah. But again, it's really hard to see that far in front of you.
Second, here comes the 28 once again.
He might have him now. He just about.
Oh, the Day gets spun. Day spins around, and the 25 as well crashes into the 28. And the caution back out here on lap 134. Disastrous after it looked like the 28 of Corey Day had made the pass and almost had gotten himself clear into second place.
Yeah, there was definitely contact between the 6 of LeVar Scott and Corey Day. Tony brought the 8 of Corey Day. Just maybe Corey came up the racetrack a little bit. It didn't really look like LeVar turned left and hooked Corey. But such a critical part of the racetrack right there, and such a critical part of the race. You see, this made a little bit of contact. LeVar was able to continue. Man, hard contact.
28 definitely came up the track. 1 lap prior, turn 3.
Great, but it's so hard to make that inside work down in 3 and 4. Corey's going to try it again on the bottom. They're going to make a little bit of contact right here, possibly. Corey has a half a car length on him, and they come together. Again, that initial view was a little bit better, and then Tony came along hard into the outside wall, as well as into the 28 of Corey Day.
That'll be done for the 28. And the
Here's that original view, Brent. Watch. You see LeVar is pretty close to the outside wall. He might have had a foot or two, but he doesn't have to run against that outside wall. I think it was just a situation where Corey knew how critical it was to clear that 6 at that point of the racetrack.
Is led, white flag in the air. Final lap, William Sawalich looking to go wire to wire for his 4th win of the season.
One more corner.
Final turn, William Sawalich in the 18 takes home the checkered flag here at Salem here tonight.
A dominating performance by that 18 team.
Wire to
damage to those guys. Oh, and that's one of their cars right there, the 22 of Amber Balkin. She was the first one last week at Salem that had an issue right on lap number 1. As you can see, she's had an issue here.
That is so frustrating for Balkin. So much potential for her. You mentioned went out early last week. She spins on lap 5 from
but she's running out of time.
Might have to do a restart. The 6 is sideways.
Look at the damage
55.
on this. Wow, look at the damage on Isabella's car.
The hood is mangled on that Mobil 1 car of Isabella Robusto.
It might be okay. You see, they take the air in at the bottom part of that grill. They might be able to see what we can see here. You see the lap cars in front of LeVar Scott. He made contact with the 99 of Michael Maples, and it slowed him down, got him sideways. And Isabella was there with absolutely nowhere to go. There's another look at it.
The 99 turned down a little bit.
It did look like the 99 turned down. Maybe didn't realize that LeVar Scott was there. You see Chris Wright getting by. We stayed green until we got to that break. You see there's a damage.
Out of the way. Underneath goes the 55. The 2 slides. And a caution.
Oh,
the
our
18,
leader.
Sawalich gets turned around and damage to the left side of our leader, the 18 car of William Sawalich.
The 99 of Maples involved. You see the damage to that left rear quarter panel of the 18 car.
Wow. What a turn of events here, Brent.
Well, that could change everything.
I don't see a lot. 18. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened. You see the 99 of Maples on the inside. And then I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Why the 99 of Michael Maples just drove into the 18 of our leader, William Sawalich.
So
This car on the racetrack, William Sawalich, by about 0.2 of a second, and the caution's out.
Exactly what the 18 wanted and what LeVar Scott did not need with 17 laps to go.
Oh boy.
Some twists and turns here tonight.
That's the 12 Ryan Roulette. Spun around on the backstretch.
Quarter panel.
3 to go.
3 laps remaining at Elko. Scott trying to hold off Sawalich. Sawalich to the inside. Sawalich for the lead. Door to door. Sawalich and LeVar Scott. 2 laps to go. And William Sawalich back out front.
What a comeback. Here comes LeVar Scott back to the inside. Contact.
Moves him up the track. The 6 and the 18. 1 lap to go at Elko.
There's going to be more contact right here.
Scott on the inside. Sawalich on the outside. Bumping and banging down the backstretch. Off the turn. Sawalich sideways. 3 wide. 3 sideways at the line.
Unbelievable. Our scoring monitor showing Sawalich by 1/100th of a second, but they all 3 were sideways at the finish line.
Incredible finish here at Elko.
All 3 of these cars sideways across the line. It looks like Sawalich by the 18. We're getting official word that 18 is the winner. Look how close it is. What a finish.
Sawalich, Scott, and Chris Wright. As good as you'll see here in the ARCA Menard Series. As good as you will see in stock car racing.
Gio Ruggiero in the ARCA Menards East Championship standings. Not what Gio was looking for tonight, but a big break for Connor Zilich and for William Sawalich, who currently leads here tonight. William had a short day up at, and let's take a look. There may have been some contact there in that pass between Connor Zilich and Gio Ruggiero. You see that car very sideways through turn 4 there. Left rear may have been cut down as Connor Zilich was working his way past Gio Ruggiero, but in any case, it certainly was down by the time he got down into turn. Ruggiero was the General Tire Pole Award winner earlier tonight. Let's take a look, let's take a look at that scene post-qualifying as we see Tanner Reif into the tire barrier down at the inside of the pit wall. That's going to put us under the caution flag for the second time here tonight. Tanner was experiencing some difficulties with overheating, tried to get that car onto pit road, couldn't quite make it, and it impacted the tire barrier there at the entrance to pit road. That steam getting a lot worse out of the overflow, and he was trying to bring it down onto pit road and couldn't get it slowed down and into the tire barrier. Window net coming down immediately. Here's another look from the front straightaway camera. Down on the bottom side of the racetrack, no grip down there on the flat of the racetrack. And that tire barrier doing exactly what it's meant to do. But wow, a tough, tough day for Bruce Cook and Tanner Reif in the 42 car. Of course, this is the team that won the Owners Championship in the ARCA Menards West last season. One more look at it there. And look at that tire. Heavy duty farm tire bouncing that race car back up the race cars. The last time out is Denise Engel waving the white flag. There's Isabella Robusto in the 55 car holding on to that second position. No heat at all for William Sawalich as he works his way through turns 3 and 4 off of the final corner. Looking at the checkered flag, William Sawalich going to go to victory lane here in the Music City. Isabella Robusto going to tie the record for best career.
Let's take one more look at this pass for the lead. There's a big wiggle. Trevor Huddleston just couldn't keep that car pointed straight. One more look at it here. He gets down below that white line, and right there, car jumps sideways on him. It is Isabella's car. That car's on rails here tonight. She was able to keep that car pointed in the right direction. Slid up to take the lead. The inside of Trevor Huddleston. Huddleston up out of the groove down in turns 1 and 2. He may have an issue on the 50. That car well off the pace. So both of our leaders, and you see it, flat right front tire on the number 50, and that's going to put us under caution for the second time here tonight. Wow, what a turn of events here at Irwindale. I don't know about you folks, but I am going to need to catch my breath and figure out what we have just seen here in the last 10 laps or so. Why don't we go ahead, step away for a quick break. When we come back, we'll reset the field, and we will race Finch. Can Jake clear him off at turn 2? Looks like he's able to jump up in line. Oh, little chrome horn there. Jake Finch going to go around in turn 4. Finch into the outside wall. That's going to put us under caution for the third time here tonight. And I don't think the driver of that number 20 car is going to be too happy with what transpired over there in turns 3 and 4. To turn 3. Nick going to give a little shot right here. The old chrome horn, and that's going to send Jake Finch around. And when you're that close to the wall, not a lot of room to recover, and light contact right there. And indeed, that left rear tire has gone flat. So a dramatic turn for the worse for 2 of the 3 Veneriti Motorsports cars. They finished 1, 2, 3 here on Thursday. Not going to have that kind of luck here tonight. Back to green, 2 laps to settle it here in overtime. Can Tyler Reif steal the win here? Or will it be Jack Wood? Look at Jack Wood in the 16 with an impressive restart. Jack Wood going to take second down the backstretch. Coming to the white flag this time around. Final lap here at Irwindale for Sean Hingorani. Looking for a weekend sweep in the number 15. Battle on for second. Tyler Reif has it. Caution flag coming out. Caution is out. So we are going to re-rack it. And it's a good thing we went over those overtime rules, folks.
Pass there. Oh, there's Bobby Hillis in the number 27 around. Guy making his 100th career West Series start here this afternoon. And Bobby Hillis getting to turn sideways. That looks to be over in turn, I'm going to say turn 4. Ooh, look at that wheel hop. That is a great example of what wheel hopping will do. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened over there. Ooh, he might have had a little bit of help. And And indeed he did have a little bit of help. Looks like Noah Gregson may have helped shove Nick Janitis off the racetrack there in turn 10 and into the tire belt right there. And Comiskey going to slide back into second, but he's got Noah Gregson, or excuse me, Sam Mayer all over as we see a loose wheel now down into turn 7. So the caution flag going to come back out. Now, I don't know where that wheel came from, folks. We need to figure out whose car is missing a tire. All kinds of drama on this restart. And it ends up with us under the caution flag for the 3rd time here today. The hill, and there we see the car that is missing the wheel. Brent Cruz in the 15. Brent had been in the top 3 all afternoon, and that left rear tire coming loose has done some damage to the body panels on the back of that number 15 Toyota. There. Yeah, he went up over the curb, and you see that wheel already jammed up. Ooh, and busting its way through that fender. Of anybody in anything he has driven here in 2023. Not only has his stock car adventures. Oh, we see a car hard into the barrier. Trevor Huddleston in the 50 off the racetrack and into the barrier, and that will put us under the caution for the 4th time here today. Just as we were talking about Marco Andretti's bad luck, Trevor Huddleston with some bad luck of his own. See if we can take a look at what happened. He's racing with Dale Quarterly through turn 8, off the racetrack a little bit right there. They're going to make a little bit of contact. Quarterly gets sideways, and as he corrects, he's going to clip Trevor, and ooh, Trevor hard into that tire pack. Battle for position gone awry as Trevor Huddleston into the wall, and there's the damage. Back to the restart zone, the restart line, the green flag back in the air. Let's see what happens as we climb the hill. Sam Mayer with the advantage. Tyler Reif facing some heat from Sean Hingorani. Reif going to hold on to second. Here comes Jack Wood to the inside of Sean Hingorani. Mayer's going to jump out to the lead. Tyler Reif going to hold on to second. Battle on for third as we've got a car sideways behind him. Top 10 are clear. Down through turn 4 and into turn 7. Jack Wood going to give up that spot to William Sawalich. Sawalich on the charge. How far can he go? Noah Gregson, the car that got turned around, he's pointed back in the right direction. But right now, it's all Sam Mayer. That's the gap. He's got over Tyler Reif in second. Reif is going to have one last-ditch shot down into the hairpin. Mayer. Crew Chief Kevin Reed delivering the checkered flag to Sam Mayer. Very happy young man behind the wheel of that number 23.
At the time of this.
Yeah, Tony, the riding of the 25, just got by Amber. You see Christian Rose trying to move to the inside. Looked like he ran his left side tires across the apron, and that shot his car up into Amber's, and then he couldn't get away from her. But this is not the first time that these two drivers have been together. Back at Springfield earlier this year, there was an incident on the very last lap of the race, but a tough. Both these cars running pretty well up in the ground. He was right on the rear bumper of Perez, and now you see Perez now not even in our screen.
Oh, and around goes Amber Balkin. The 20, Gio Ruggiero, that is a teammate. Brad Smith comes to a halt. Oh, and Tony Breidinger just taps. One thing after another right there. Gio a little frustrated with Amber Balkin holding him up. spins her, and now we've got 3 cars stalled on the track.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of impatience on Gio's part to run into the back of Amber, trying to move her out of the way. She wasn't able to hang.
Teammate right there going around the lap car gets me a little impatient, like you said, Phil, and around goes Amber. Brad Smith tries to avoid her sideways, and Amber or Tony Breidinger just taps Brad Smith.
Yeah, Brad Smith was running side by side with a lap car, didn't feel like he had enough room, so he locked the brakes up. There's another view of it. Watch, Brad's going to come along side by side with somebody, locks the brakes up, slides, just barely touches her, and Tony barely touches Brad Smith. But there's where Gio gets in the back of Amber, and she was just not able to save it. Again, lap traffic here at Toledo is a way of life. I mean, these fast cars are so much faster than some of the back markers that you're going to be in traffic the entire time.
We're under caution for the second time. 61 laps in, 139 to go from Toledo.
Rowe in that 12 car.
Andres Perez in that 2, official champion, and we see the caution is out for the 4th time. Oh, the 31 stopped. It's like the entrance to pit road, hearing that he blew up, so tried to pull it off the racetrack.
I think the ARC officials wanted to check the racetrack to make sure there wasn't any oil on the racetrack. I think the 31 car was basically blowing up when he got here today. Every time they warmed the car up, it seemed like that car was smoking. Let's take a look here if we can see that car smoking. You see it over there in turn 4 now as the rest of the field goes by the flag stand. So good bit of smoke. I think it's a good move by the ARC officials to take a look at that racetrack. Yeah, he just barely got to pit road.
Our first look at what happened to the 12, got sideways.
He turned down into, looked like Amber Balkin, possibly in the 22. Don't know if he was trying to come to pit road, whether he had an issue or was just trying to really to get out of Amber's way.
He has some damage on the left front as he makes it down pit road after this spin right there. All right, Phil, we're going to have another restart.
Another restart. That's the opportunity for Ruggiero and for Perez to do something with Sawalich. If that car is losing oil, that could be a pretty lengthy cleanup as well. Maybe there may be smoke inside the cockpit. That's why he keeps running off the racetrack. Really doesn't know where he is. It doesn't appear. It's Michael Maples. He's going to get into the outside wall. Don't know if that knocked an oil line off his car or what, Jamie, but it was pretty significant shot to the wall there for Maples.
Green flag in the air once again. William Sawalich trying to hold off Gio Ruggiero in the 20.
Sawalich moved him up the hill a little bit.
Look at LeVar's, the 2 of Andres Perez, 3 wide. Dust up in the air. Andres wants to go out a champion, but he wants to say he wins, and he goes around. Caution is out.
And we have a new leader, Gio Ruggiero. I think Sawalich was, again, he might have slipped in the speedy dry, but he moved up the racetrack, made contact with the Ruggiero. That opened up the bottom. Tough break.
And the foam barriers all over the place as Amber Balkin has gotten into them from 11th. So we're going to bring the red flag back out. This is going to be a lengthy cleanup. Andres Perez, that was his move. Jumped to the inside, made it exciting. Oh man, what a hit for Amber Balkin. This is her 3rd incident today.
Yeah, you can see that right front corner all pushed back on that car. Those styrofoam blocks certainly out of your screen. There she is. There you see the styrofoam right at the beginning of the billboards. There is where she made contact. Can look right before as the billboards start. There she went right behind that white van. Meanwhile, Andres Perez was spinning there. Here's that restart we were talking about being so important. Watch the 18 move up the racetrack a little bit. He leaves that bottom open, and Perez takes advantage of it. And here they go down the back straightaway, 3 wide.
Look at LeVar Scott on the outside. This is where it goes wrong for Andres Perez. Washes up the track a little bit, goes around. There goes Gio Ruggiero to the lead for the first time today. Then the caution comes out.
And LeVar Scott, I believe, came across the line in second. There's the contact again. It wasn't anything that the 18 of Sawalich did wrong. I think a lot of it was the 2 of Perez was trying to stay off the 18. You see him, you can see his wheels, the front wheels turning left and right, trying to keep control of that car.
Runs over the cones there.
He knew that was his shot. That was his shot to get the win.
That's for a top 5 as you see the white flag in the air for William Sawalich. 18-year-old hails from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Looking at bringing it home once again at Toledo Speedway. 9th win of the year for William Sawalich in that 18 team. Gio Ruggiero, Chris Wright, Brent Cruz, LeVar Scott, and your champion, Andres Perez, brings it home 6th.
Amazing day, amazing year for this 18 team.
As we come back here to see that the first caution flag is out on the night, and unfortunately is a car we just had our eyes on, in that of Ryan Roulette in turn 3. So Roulette will draw the first yellow of the night. We'll resort the field, and we'll come back here to the Hearst Snacks 200 right after this.
Four wins last year on the way to that championship. We're hearing that Christian Rose was involved. Christian was running in the 9th spot. There's our leader.
We showed Rose earlier trying to fend off Amber Balkin, and we see a left front down on the number 11 of Cody. Take a look at what happened here coming off turn 4. There's Rose inside of Dennison, and around goes the 11 off the 4th corner. Oh, that was close.
That was close. Christian Rose was able to stay on the lead lap. As you see, there's our leader, William Sawalich, going by.
So Rose, who was on the lead lap at the time, Dennison, who was running about. But here comes William Sawalich. She's coming up to the white flag. Battle for 4th is going to go right down to the wire between Wright and Perez. 1 lap to go. Perez, the point leader, trying to get up to 4th in the final few corners, but William Sawalich has been the dominant car all night long. It's going to be back-to-back wins in the ARCA Menard Series for William Sawalich. 2nd year in a row, he claims Berlin Raceway. And for 4th, Perez with a last-ditch effort to try to get by Chris Wright at the line, but it's not going to happen. Wright hangs on to 4th behind LeVar Scott with a career-best effort in 2nd, and Sean Hegnerani 3rd, but by far.
In the number 3, great save by Todd Souza there, coming off of turn 2, and there's more contact. Borneman getting together with Takuma Koga, and Koga has some damage. Caution flag going to come out for the first time tonight as we come to complete lap number 2. Oh, and a tough break for Takuma Koga. Looked like Johnny Borneman just got together with the left side of Takuma. Takuma doing a great job to keep that here at current. Let's take a look at the replay. Keep an eye on the 41 car. Johnny Borneman, the 3rd, just gets underneath the Takuma. Don't know that Takuma knew he was there. Takuma tried to shut the door, and Borneman was already in that gap. Let's take one more look at it. Borneman down on that white line. He's as low as he can go. And they just come together, and there's where Borneman rode up over the left front tire and did the damage to the body. Nice save by Takuma to keep that car from that 13-car run as well as it's running here tonight. Tyler Wright. Oh, we see some sparks and some problems. The number 88 car.
way up and out of the groove. Looks like he may have cut down a right front tire. John Moore keeping it out of the fence, but that will put us under the caution for the second time here tonight. For the second time here tonight as we circulate behind Chuck Welch in the pace car. Let's take a look at what happened and keep an eye on that red car. All kinds of sparks out of the right front, and he did a fantastic job of keeping it off of that outside wall. Let's see what happens from the speed shot here. There's John slipping past, and that was directly in front of the leader. Don't see any sparks out of the car right there. It looks like that tire might have been up as he came across the start-finish line, but again, directly in front of that battle for second and third. That could have been a lot worse than it was for everybody involved right there, but a nice job by John Moore to keep that car this time around. Who is it going to be? Trevor Huddleston or Cole Raz? Huddleston with a half a car length lead as the white flag is in the air. Raz to the bottom side of the racetrack. One more shot down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. Final time, side by side. Huddleston with the lead. Here comes Cole Raz to the bottom side. It's going to be a photo finish. Who's it going to be? Give it to Cole Raz as they come together down into turn 1. Wow, what a finish here at Kern County Raceway Park. Just incredible racing as we come across the line. Huddleston got up into the outside wall, and I don't know that he is particularly happy with the way that last lap played out, but what a performance by Cole Raz to pick up his first.
See the 71 of Christopher Worth there, just being passed by LeVar Scott.
The 99 had spun in front of him, and he goes around.
Yep, gets on the brakes. That transition.
And he was a little wide, too, because he was leaving room for LeVar Scott to go by on the inside. Maybe a little dirtier up there where he was than
At this moment, I believe actually it was 2 laps to go in the race. The caution came out. He was leading, and we know how it ended. He did not win.
We don't have to remind him, I don't think. And, you know, the thing is, and it's going to be great if he can hold on. Caution doesn't come out and he wins this race. It's going to be redemption of some sort, but he'll never get that one from last year back. You know, there's always going to be that void about that first one that got away.
Yeah, he won't be thinking about that victory lane, though. I can promise you, tonight at least, he'll feel that redemption, and knowing tomorrow he's going to get in that Xfinity car. Shane Huffman, actually a former driver of Junior Motorsports. I'm sure he's going to hang around probably with Connor to watch him in that debut tomorrow. I really look forward to watching this as a fan. I mean, really, it's not often you see a driver making his start that you know is going to be having an impact on the sport for a long time to come.
And I became a believer for that Coda truck race when he set a new track record and then was so fast. Got a couple laps down, fought his way back, got them both back, and ended up with a top 5 finish.
Well, everything this young man touches seems to turn to gold and a trophy. Connor Zilic, he has just been flawless today. For the 5th time this season, checkered flag goes to Connor Zilic as he wins at Watkins Glen. You just can't say enough great things about this young man. That's what you see here, Phil.
Right there, you see the 32 of Christian Rose and the 25 of Tony Breidinger. See, Christian just slides up and gets into the left rear quarter panel, and around she goes. She does a nice job keeping that car out of the wall.
It's a hard thing about a track like this where you're both fighting for the middle.
Yeah, only her second start in the ARCA series. Take a look. We're watching for Amber Balkin. She feels that right front tire go down as well. A good job not making contact with anything with the right side of that Icon Toyota.
They're just not enough.
You see the white flag. They have 1 to go. And you can see on the left side of the screen, you see he's got almost a 4-second lead over Zilic. But to show the domination of those 2 cars, you see right now third is 29 seconds behind Sawalich.
William Sawalich last year set a new track record. This year in qualifying broke his own record. For the 7th time this season, William Sawalich crosses the line first. He gets it done at the Milwaukee Mile. 2nd straight win for this 17-year-old at Milwaukee.
It's 4-win team owner. As we see the caution flag coming out, and it has not been a good night for Jack Wood. Sideways to the top of the racetrack here in turn 4. That will put us under the caution flag for the 2nd time tonight. Looks like there is some damage to the left rear of that race car. And I'll tell you what, they made a big chassis adjustment. My guess might have gone a little too far. They tried to loosen that race car up. My guess, Garani, the defending ARCA Menard Series West champion, hold off this furious charge by Isabella Robusto. White flag in the air, final time through turns 1 and 2. She's going to have one more shot at it down in turns 3 and 4. Don't know that she's going to be able to get close enough. Hingarani to the top side. Works his way through turns 3 and 4. Sean Hingarani able to hold off Isabella Robusto. He's going to pick up the win here at Irwindale. Jake Finch across the line. He will finish 3rd to give Venery. Still working the first caution flag of the night here at Five Flags Speedway. Connor Zilic and Zachary Tinkle coming together down in turn 1. No damage to either car. There's a good look at Connor Zilic in that number 28. Only lost 1 spot on the racetrack. After that incident, he has been removed. Let's take one more look at what happened down there going down into turn 1. Connor Zilic thought he had the 11 car cleared. Unfortunately, Zachary Tinkle dropped the racetrack just a little bit. Those cars came together. And keep an eye on Jake Finch in that 55. Great job missing Connor Zilic and the wall. One more look from the turn 1 cam, and boom, right there. Zachary Tinkle drifting up the racetrack and making pretty solid contact with Connor Zilic, but both of those. Gero looking at the white flag from Denise Engel. Final time around for the driver of the number 20. Gio Ruggiero down the backstretch. No pressure from behind. Into turns 3 and 4. Gio Ruggiero looking at the checkered flag. He'll pick up the victory here at Five Flags Speedway. Career win number 1. William Sawalich across the line in 2nd. Bubba Pollard will come home in 3rd. The 55, and look at that run for Zachary Tinkle in the number 11 as we got a car sideways already over in turns 3 and 4. That will put us under the caution flag for the first time here tonight. Colton Collins getting turned sideways. Making his way through turns 1 and 2, down the short backstretch, and I think he's going to get a little nudge. Indeed, he does. Some contact there from Jason Alexander, getting Colton turn 10 laps. Going to add on to that advantage here tonight. Ooh, we see a car sideways. Cody Dennison getting turned around over in turn 2, and that will put us under the caution. And that is going to give William Sawalich a shot at making a run for victory here tonight. Cody Dennison getting a nudge in traffic, getting turned sideways. And over there, keep an eye on the 06. He is going to get a little help there from Gio Ruggiero. Looks like Cody may have stacked it up behind D.L. Wilson. 8 laps to go to settle it. And look at that, Zilic driving Sawalich way up the racetrack. Green flag back out. Let's see what happens. 3 to go here at Flat Rock. Zilic on the brake. He's going to jump out to the lead. Sawalich able to keep Gio Ruggiero behind. Ruggiero trying to move him up the racetrack. 2 to go this time around. Down the backstretch, Zilic with a little bit of breathing room over William Sawalich. White flag up here, final time around for Connor Zilic. Stretching out the advantage. your ARCA Menard Series East current points leader, looking for win number 2. Connor Zilic going to get it done here tonight at Flat Rock. Zilic picking up the victory, drifting across the start-finish line.
Rip Michaels looks like he's been sideways, Phil. I see the roof flap, the fabric sticking out of the roof flap there on the back, and it does look like he's got a flat left rear tire. So Rip Michaels bringing that car down onto pit road. Rip actually driving this number 71 in substitution for Nick Janitis. Nick has had some health issues here in the last couple of months, but is on the rebound. Good to see that.
With a flailing rubber.
Take a look at what happened. He's way up out of the groove. Looks like that flat left rear tire happened before he was even near the entry to the corner.
Yeah, I think he realized it at the last second. He does a nice job keeping out of the wall here. So they're going to jack it up under the center of the rear end so they can get a jack under the side. He's going to
field to the restart line off of turn 4. Connor Zilic on the hammer. Let's see what William Sawalich can do as we stream through the dogleg with 4 to go here at Phoenix.
Sawalich is right there. Is going to have the edge getting in turn turn 1.
Just like he did on that restart back at lap 53. Sawalich with the advantage off of turn 2. Zilic picking up the momentum on the outside down the backstretch, side by side into 3.
Door to door, almost touched. You see Zilic fighting back on the outside. Sawalich is there. Again, the momentum from the high side for Zilic.
They both stay on the racetrack through the dogleg. Sawalich nosing ahead ever so slightly into turn 1. Zilic trying to hang tough, still side by side off of 2.
Nice move on the outside again from Zilic, and he has the lead, has Sawalich behind him.
Sawalich got a little loose coming off of turn 2. That allowed Zilic to grab that lead as we've got him a gaggle of cars stacked up at the back of the top 10.
How about 3 wide? Tyler Reif goes 3 wide to try to make the pass, gets by the 16 of Jack Wood.
Reif trying to hang on to a top 10 finish as Jack Wood all kinds of sideways there into turn 1.
Jack's going to lose a lot of ground there and not enough time to make it up.
Working their way off of turn 4, coming to the white flag. Zilic has the lead. Almost a 1 second advantage on now what is the final lap here at Phoenix Raceway.
Sawalich took his shot. He was right there for a couple laps.
And there you see the tire lettering off of the left rear has been rubbed off. That's how close they were. Zilic working their way into turns 3 and 4. No pressure from behind. Final race of the season in the ARCA Menard Series West. Going to go to Connor Zilic here at Phoenix. William Sawalich across the line in second. And Sean Hingarani going to put the exclamation point